Three brothers who did essay on girls as young as 6 in a 14-year campaign face decades in prison. Shaha Amran Miah is 48, Shaha Alman Miah is 47, and Shaha Joman Miah is 38 were convicted after a lengthy trial at Preston Crown Court. These incidents happened in Barrow-in-Furness, Cumbria and Leeds in West Yorkshire between 1996 and 2010. Amran Miah essayed 3 children and faced charges for 16 offences, 2 charges of intimidation and 1 of kidnap, while Joman Miah did essay on 3 children and faced charges for 40 offences. During the trial, the court heard that Alman Miah started a relationship with a 15-year-old girl, and during their relationship, the girl was the word beginning with R by his brother Amran Miah and was threatened by him after she spoke to the police. Joman, who had also essayed a girl whilst he was working at a takeaway owned by his family. The trial also heard one of the girls claimed Joman essayed her at least weekly at a mosque in Leeds where he taught the Quran and she was his pupil. The girls were abused by Amran Miah and Joman Miah were as young as 6 and 7 when the abuse began, and the middle brother Alman Miah faced 3 offences against 1 girl. Joman Miah started a relationship with a girl of 14 and groomed her by giving gifts, alcohol and ciggies. Around the same time, Alman Miah started a relationship with a 15-year-old girl who was the word beginning with R by Amran Miah. In late 2009, after speaking to police about the attack, the 15-year-old victim was grabbed off the street by her hair by a man and shoved into the back of a car where Amran Miah was in the passenger seat. The man who grabbed her asked her what she had said to the police and told her she would be dead if she had told him anything. Amran Miah told her she did not know what he was capable of and he would do anything to protect his family. He also made threats to a woman who was due to be interviewed by the police in 2010 in retaliation to the brothers. Due to the threats, that interview never took place. Derek Artis from the Crown Prosecution Service said the brothers groomed and exploited the girls with no concern for them or the impact it would have on them. He added, "I would like to commend the women who have come forward and supported the prosecution in this case, and I hope they can now begin to move forward knowing the men who abused and exploited them will face justice." The trial heard Joman, who was known by his nickname Saj, did things to girls whilst he was working at a takeaway owned by his family, and jurors told that Joman had relationship with girls when they were aged 13 to 16 years old whilst he was in his mid-20s. Prosecutor said Joman at one point moved in with one of the girls and her mother who used to abuse drugs and alcohol, and the jury heard he admitted to the relationship but insisted he thought the girl was over 16. The court was told the girl was picked up from school each day by Joman, who would then take her to the takeaway where they would... The prosecutor said a key part of the relationship was that Sad Joman were treating her pretty much to whatever she wanted, buying her presents, topping up her phone, as well as buying her friends food. He'd also buy cigarettes, beer, and give her £40 in cash a month, which she would tell her mum that it was her wages for working at the takeaway. The prosecutor said on one occasion, Joman allegedly said after an altercation at the takeaway that he can do whatever he wants. So it's believed that these 3 brothers are going to be sentenced in February 2025. Guys, leave in the comments below and let me know what you think the punishment is going to be for these guys. How long do you reckon they're going to get? In this next news story, an organised crime network distributing drugs across London has been dismantled following an investigation by Met officers, with a gang sentenced to over 20 years imprisonment collectively. The investigation was actually launched after the tragic death of Alexander Hildred, a vulnerable man who collapsed in the streets after suffering a cardiac arrest. As part of inquiries into his death, police reviewed information on Mr. Hildred's mobile phone and uncovered a network of dealers selling Class A and B drugs. Evidence, including WhatsApp messages and CCTV footage, led officers to 3 men involved in the supply of drugs, including crystal meth, coke, and GHB. Following an extensive investigation, all 3 were charged with conspiracy to supply Class A and B drugs and in possession of criminal property. As part of the Met's drive to tackle issues that matter most to the community's officers are focusing on community crime fighting, acting on residents' concerns, and making London safer for those who live and work in the capital. Detective Sergeant Andy Snazzle, who led the investigation as part of the Met Series organised crime team, said the supply of drugs has devastating consequences for communities across London and beyond. It causes addiction, has devastating health impacts, and leads to antisocial behaviour and violence. With the help of local communities talking to us and sharing info, our officers are acting swiftly to pursue those who seek to cause harm by supplying drugs. We are determined to robustly deal with the offenders who impact the lives of those around them while driving down crime in local areas. So, the men were sentenced as follows. Hadi Salalahi, he was sentenced to 8 years and 4 months. Hossein Gademimi, he was sentenced to 7 years and 2 months. And Maysem Gorobani, he was sentenced to 4 years and 9 months. And in this next story, a Bedford drug dealer has been jailed thanks to the police dog Vix. Naimo Ahmed, who's 25, was sentenced after a police dog located a mobile phone discarded by Ahmed, which later uncovered his illegal enterprise. The seizure came in the early hours of the 29th of November 2023 after officers were alerted to a vehicle which was known to be involved in the drug dealing. Officers pursued the vehicle but lost sight of it after an occupant exited the car and blocked officers from continuing their pursuit. Less than 30 minutes later, officers spotted the vehicle abandoned in a street in Bedford and a police dog was called to the scene. After a short search of the vicinity, the police dog Vix located the occupants of the car and a mobile phone, which was seized and sent to be analysed. A review of the phone showed its last activity took place just 1 minute before Ahmed was tracked down by the police dog, and around 5 minutes before the phone was found discarded in a nearby bush. The contents of the phone revealed messages related to the supply of illegal drugs, with Ahmed instructing others to facilitate his drug dealing. Ahmed pleaded guilty to being concerned in the supply of Class A and B drugs and was sentenced at Preston Crown Court for 4 years and 6 months imprisonment. Detective Constable Adam Geary from the Bedford Police, his boss and team, said taking Ahmed out of the streets will no doubt be a huge benefit for the local community. Drug dealing underpins so many other issues and crimes that we see across Bedfordshire, including antisocial behaviour and child exploitation. The dog Vix played a vital role in helping us apprehend Ahmed, but we need the help of the community to continue to put dealers like Ahmed behind bars. Any info we act on, we can build a picture about drug use in our communities. We just want to make our community in Bedfordshire a safer place. So, as I said, this lad has been sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment. So, guys, here's a number of stories coming out from the streets of the UK. Once again, if you already haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Please give this video a little like. I'd appreciate it. And also, leave a comment below as well, and I will respond back to you. Once again, big respect going out to each and every one of you. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.